Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. Obviously, Puerto Rico versus Mexico. I think right now Puerto Rico's up 76-70, I believe.
Where'd you see that?
I saw a stat on Twitter right now that
So they just
um
tallied all the Mexicans and Puerto Ricans
yeah.
from fighting each other.
I think I saw something like that it
Interesting.
was that it was like 70 to something. I'm not too sure. I
Puerto
think I saw
Rico's up.
something like that. The what?
Puerto Rico's leading by 6
Yeah,
victories.
6 or 7 fights. Yeah. They're
Yeah, a
leading it
lot
by
of
six or
pressure on
seven.
Canelo.
I know. But what do you Canelo actually just arrived
Yeah.
in Vegas about 2 hours ago, according to Las Vegas locally. Obviously he's in town. I think Guadalajara is obviously the biggest Canelo city, obviously. Then I think it's probably San Diego, and then no, and then it's Vegas, and then it's San Diego. What do you think? Would you say that that's
Yeah, I can see the entire West Coast is very Canelo
I mean,
heavy.
he lives he has a house out here in San Diego. I know that.
Uh, I'm not even sure if Canelo's he's fought in New York, but I can't remember the last time he fought in New York. Maybe when he fought Caleb Smith, I think it was. He or maybe that was overseas in England, but he's fought obviously in England and Texas, out in Mexico, in Las Vegas. I don't know if he's ever fought in LA. I think he has at Staples. Actually, yeah, when he fought Shane Mosley. So yeah, West Coast, Mexico. I'm sure even in London and UK, they are some of the most diehard boxing fans. They know the sport very well, so I'm sure Canelo's beloved out there too. So I don't know. Maybe he fights in Saudi Arabia soon.
Yeah,
Gets
right.
that money there, and he
He
also
ain't
is
doing that.
adored. Yeah.
I don't know
Why
why.
not?
I feel like Canelo. No, it's like either Vegas, Texas, or maybe even LA. For I feel like if Canelo fought Benavidez, he could sell out SoFi Stadium.
Yeah, but the
Or
issue is
Terrence
always
Crawford.
it's always the tax, the state tax money, and I
Oh,
really
that's
want to
true.
see him fight at SoFi Stadium, but like when you're losing a couple mil, and you like might as well stay
Okay,
in
then do
Florida.
it at
You stay
Allegiant.
to Florida, yeah, and at Allegiant, like in Vegas or Texas. Those are the kind of three non state tax states there, or the major ones. But I've been waiting for an Allegiant boxing match. It just hasn't been like a big one in a minute. So it will have to be something where like trying to think like because
Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, I think could have sold out the.
I don't know. They barely sold out the
That's in
Barclays.
Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just if Canelo somehow or the promoters, not Canelo, marinate and hype up a potential David Benavidez showdown, I could see that fight there. Definitely.
The So give me the lowdown on Berlanga. I mean, the stuff that I've heard and the stuff that I've seen is that it's another typical boxer that Canelo fights. Nothing. There's nothing like impressive about him, I guess. But I don't know. And it's funny because at first he was defending on social media. Oh, he should have fought David Benavidez, and he's like, hey, Canelo can do what he wants. He's the goat. He's a this. He's a that. And now all of a sudden he started talking trash when he was out in LA for the press conference, the one in Brooklyn. So what do you think? Do you think I mean, I'm not gonna say does Berlanga have a chance because honestly, it's only Bivol and Mayweather have beaten him. But do you feel like this is basically another Canelo cakewalk, or what do you think?
Yeah, and because we are in fight week, I'm trying to get myself hyped for this fight, but it's
Well, we're gonna
very
be there.
yeah, we're gonna be there. Breaking news: the Compas are gonna be there at another
Yeah,
Canelo fight. We were there in May for Jaime Munguia versus Canelo, and
he's
that
two
one,
and zero with us there.
yeah, there you go. So we with that one, I could get myself a little hyped because Mexico, two Mexicans going at it, and Munguia has a very good style, fan friendly style where he has a lot of heart. He's gonna have a lot of punches thrown. Not maybe the best power, very good chin. I know that Canelo dropped them, but you could take that away. Like it's gonna be a good brawl. Here, they're trying really hard to do the Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry, and it's just Berlanga is not on Munguia's level. So you saw how high Canelo was in terms of fighting Munguia, and then Berlanga's like over here, and it's like he's very slow. I thought his power was overrated because he was fighting a bunch of guys who were training at the local YMCA, and like, oh, you want to go fight Berlanga? And credit to Berlanga, he kind of created a little bit of hype for himself because he embraced the Puerto Rican roots. He's from New York. He's wearing the flashy jewelry. He's hanging out with the rappers in New York, Fat Joe. He became kind of a name out there in Brooklyn. But then he got put on ESPN with Top Rank, and he had boring fights. He looked very slow. He did not seem like the real deal. And then Top Rank just dropped him. That's not a good sign, Fernando. When promoters have guys who are worthy of holding on to for big paydays, and they just cut them or like, hey, we don't really care for you. That said a lot to me. So Canelo, I think is going to have a nice, easy day. But maybe this is where the storyline could be, Fernando. If Canelo doesn't look good and he doesn't knock out Berlanga, maybe there's going to be talk about decline time for the older guy.
Do you expect that to kind of happen?
I don't, because I just don't think Berlanga is that good. But hey, we've all seen the Rocky movies, right? We all seen these boxing underdogs, and they kind of, okay, let me get him. Then boom, one punch, and they drop him. So we've seen that all the time. Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. That is the small hope here for Berlanga. He does have power. It's just I think his power is a little fraudulent, a little overrated. He couldn't, when the competition level increased by a little bit, the power just suddenly went away. I don't know. I think Canelo's a very good combination puncher, very good counter puncher. He's going to take him to school. And the only reason, Fernando, that I thought that Canelo didn't knock out Munguia, he could have done it. He hasn't knocked out anybody in 3 years. Was just too much respect for a fellow Mexican. He too much respect for the pride there. Maybe you didn't see it that way. I thought that by the
No, I don't like that.
Okay, yeah. By the ninth round, I thought he kind of cruised a bit, or maybe it's an excuse for why Canelo didn't knock him out. But I do bite a little bit. Berlanga's a little bigger, a little bulkier. Maybe he could eat some shots better than Munguia, who got dropped with the uppercut. By the way, check out that video on Compas on the Beat. But exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what to expect, and all I can really sell myself on is he has power. It is boxing. It takes one shot.
Do you? I just think Canelo might have lost a little bit of that when it comes to the power and everything. I mean, I'm sure he's still one of the best boxers in the world, if not, well, yeah, he's still one of the top boxers in the world. I don't know if he'd make your top 5 pound for pound right now, but
I think he's outside, like top 6. I think I have.
Is John Jones on your pound for pound number?
On UFC? Yeah, you know what? Maybe not, because we're not going to be at the UFC spear there. So
there you go. So obviously, the fight card, Gilbert. Is there any fight that it's Lara versus Danny Garcia, Caleb Plant, Trevor McCumbee? Caleb, obviously, it's the first time that he's back in the ring in a while. Obviously, he got into that spat with at the Tank Davis, Frank Martin with Ryan Garcia. Rolly Romero, friend of the show, jumps in with Manuel Jaimes and Stephen Fulton versus Carlos Castro. Gilbert, what should fans be excited about when it comes to that?
It's an interesting undercard. There's a lot of well-known names, but not like a very good fight. I want Danny Garcia and Lara to be that good fight, but like they're two older guys past their prime. Maybe Danny Garcia is still in his prime. We just kind of overrated Danny Garcia. We're like, okay, we thought he's gonna be a star in boxing, but every time he fought one of the big boys, he lost. I'm trying to think of the one fight that he won. I guess he beat Amir Khan, but that was a long time ago. Maybe he's over the hill. I don't know what. I'm trying to make a case here for the co-main, but Lara's very old. He fought Canelo like 10 years ago too. For now, these are two guys who were budding stars 10 years ago, and like now we're gonna put him in the co-main. Okay, sure, maybe. And Lara's not even entertaining for now. He's very boring. A skill fighter who doesn't have that much skill because he's old now. Caleb Plant's probably getting a tune-up fight. Good name, but a tune-up fight. Romero definitely needs to have an impressive performance because he got knocked out by the Pitbull there. Pitbull, Cruz. There you go. But I don't know. I'm kind of done with Romero. Good interview, friend of the show, but I'm over that one. Stephen Fulton had a little bit of hype, but also I think he lost to Inoue. Yeah, he lost to the Japanese monster. So a lot of guys who need to prove something to get back on track. So they're kind of missing one very entertaining fight, which that's kind of the sucky part about this card.
What do you make of the Oscar De La Hoya versus Canelo Alvarez thing? And the reason why I ask is because let me show you what. So obviously, for people that don't know, uh, Oscar Loya has been doing these things on Thursdays where he talks crap, or he says he's keeping it real, and he talks a bunch of crap, and he goes after people. And so basically, he was talking crap about Canelo, and he's like, "Oh, this fight's gonna suck. Like you're fighting a nobody for $90, which yeah, $89 is ridiculous." He's like, "You're $89 or $90. You should be able to knock out Berlanga right away. He's not even a good opponent." And then that was one Thursday. The next Thursday, he announces, "Oh, hey, guess what? I'm not even going to the Canelo Alvarez fight." He's like, "I will be at UFC at the Sphere. Come
Why?
out and see that."
Dana White
So,
doesn't even like Oscar De La Hoya. That's
hold
just
on,
weird.
I got something for you. Look at Dana White's response. It's glorious.
I did see Oscar De La Hoya is going to be in the building. Is that a conversation we're going to have, or is it better that you guys stay away from each other?
I don't know where he's getting his tickets from, but he definitely isn't getting it from me. I don't know if he's coming with Shake Turkey or what his deal is, but yeah, I saw it. Listen, and it's him trying to shit on Canelo, and I said it a million times. I respect Canelo. I like Canelo. Met him. He's a nice guy. That night, we're talking about the history of Mexico and the history of the people and their traditions and the impact that they've had on combat sports.
So Dana obviously does not like that he's being put in the middle of Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez. But what are your thoughts?
But he did mention Turkey there. So the prince, what
His Excellency.
What does that actually mean? Like the title that he has out there, is that,
I don't know.
Is he some
Dude,
kind
he's
of
in
prince?
the Boxing Hall of Fame? Like
okay, whatever. But I just feel weird calling him that. It's like, okay, like, but I also want to know, like, but Turkey. I'm glad that Dana White said it. I feel like I was mispronouncing it, but Turkey it is. They have like a common friend there because apparently Oscar and Golden Boy are gonna make like a boxing card with a bunch of Latinos on there, and Turkey wants to host it and co-manage with Oscar. So I get that. And then obviously UFC, is it still 305 or just a Spear?
306.
306 UFC Spear. Yeah. Being also kind of not co-promoted, but being sponsored by Riyadh Season. So I actually it makes a lot of sense for why Oscar would go there, but Dana White hates him. And it's always funny seeing UFC media asking at least one De La Hoya question per press conference just to get a rise out of him. It's good clickbait, good content.
Remember when we were there, somebody asked him about the handling of Ryan Garcia's suspension.
Oh yeah.
And he said I would have defended him until the end. He's like, how can you tell me? And I mean, you ask people, and a lot of people think that it's BS, the suspension of Ryan Garcia. Obviously, who knows if it's because he talked about pedophilia in Hollywood or whatever it was that, or maybe he did pop, whatever. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Well, no, it does matter. Help the kids, all that stuff. But what I mean is that he obviously, I mean, he's gonna take a shot at Oscar De La Hoya whenever he can. I'm just waiting for the video if they kind of interact or if they meet each other or if they shove each other. Or who knows? Maybe if the buys aren't doing too well, Dana just says, "Hey, well, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. Hey, why don't we jump in the octagon? I'll give you gloves, you give me, and then we'll jump in and see no takedowns, but we'll see who's better." So
before I forget, Fernando, you mentioned the price of the pay-per-view for Canelo Berlanga, which is ridiculous, by the way. Like it keeps going up $10. I feel like every year. But one good thing, one positive sign, I saw pay-per-view.com is gonna be hosting or showing on their streaming platform the Anthony Joshua Daniel Dubois fight for $20. I'm like, oh,
I know.
It kind of was making me. I shouldn't say this, but I'm still gonna use what I always use. But hey, $20, I'm thinking about maybe paying for it. So that is a good sign for the sport.
When DAZN used to do if you pay for if you have a subscription to DAZN, $20 a month, you can get all the fights. I used to love that.
Yeah,
it was perfect. All of a sudden they got greedy, and that's when a lot of people left, and that's when they were sending all kinds of promotions, and then nobody cared about it. So yeah, they've messed up.
I haven't had DAZN in like 3 years, Fernando.
His Excellency said that that he wants to bring pay-per-views down to $20 and $30 to kind of combat illegal streaming, which that's what I think Dana White. I've been saying this. Everybody needs to follow the WWE model. WWE came out with their own streaming platform, and everybody said it's going to be a failure. Look at the deal that they just signed with the Cock. They signed that big deal with them, and they stream all their content. Now they're going to Netflix for an even bigger deal. So I just don't understand why more companies don't do that. I know it's less money than what you're thinking, but at the end of the day, it'll add up because people are going to be like, oh, you know what? Sean O'Malley is fighting tonight. I want to watch it. Boom. A subscription for $15.99 a month. People watch the UFC fight, and I mean, obviously, like the UFC is huge right now. People love it, but the thing is, the price. You can't. UFC has what, 3 or 4 cards a month. One of them is free. The other you kind of have to pay for. It's like, well, not people aren't they're window shopping, and that's why when Dana's like, oh, we're going to combat illegal streaming by going after those people. No, do it a smart way. Combat it by bringing a platform in that you can, like ESPN makes a bunch of money. Why don't you just do it for $15.99 and all that? So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think they need to be a lot smarter with their pay-per-views because people aren't watching, and that's how people get the illegal streams. And that's why you go on Twitter and you just tweet out, hey, who has the illegal or who has the stream? And you get 15 freaking messages from people that have the stream.
And you know, for this particular fight, the annoying thing is kind of like football, where like you gotta have like YouTube TV and Peacock and Netflix and whatever else these games are on. But you know, with this one, it's gonna be on Prime. But it's like there has to be something where like, okay, if you buy Prime and subscribe, you get the fight, but also like I get you want to make a little extra money. How about like a package where like, okay, you pay $10 a month and you get all the fights for the whole year, and it's like, and you look up and it's like, oh, you paid $120 for the whole year. I'm sure Prime can make a bunch of money doing that, but I'm no genius here. But I would definitely add on a boxing plan for just $10. Oh, just $10, cool. Like you think about it that way, and now it's like I want $90 right now. So I'm like,
yeah, no, and what Gilbert's saying is
asking for
completely
the Martin fight money. Probably my Wi-Fi here.
Yeah, no, you're good now.
Am I? Okay, but go ahead, Fernando.
No, and just what I was gonna say is, oh wow, they're right now I'm watching Mexico versus Canada, and they have a little box on the bottom saying, hey, Canelo versus Berlanga. So they're promoting it. See, and in Mexico they get it for free. You just have to wait until the fight's basically over. Or no, sometimes they even pass it for free, and it's like, well, why down there do they pass it for free? Why not here? And I can tell you right now, not a lot of Mexicans are kind of over Canelo a little bit because they remember the days of Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. They remember the days of even Oscar de la Hoya. They remember Juan Manuel Marquez, even Margarito. They remember all those guys, El Terrible Morales. They remember all those guys going up and just banging with whoever it was. But the problem is, Gilbert, and I don't want to say that he ruined the sport, but Floyd Mayweather Jr. going undefeated, I feel like everybody wants to keep that undefeated streak. And they that's what they talk about. They talk about being undefeated, and it's like, no, dude, just go in and bang. Everybody loses. Even the Undertaker had to lose, Gilbert, and that was a sad sight. So yeah, I just nobody stays perfect forever. Well, I guess Floyd did, but there's a lot of question marks there. Let me ask you real quick. For Oscar de la Hoya, the promoter, isn't this a bad look?
Yeah, especially when I know Dana White doesn't want to make it this, and I could ask the question right here, but it kind of feels like a week where like it's gonna be UFC or MMA against boxing, and Canelo's, I mean, De La Hoya's over there on the UFC side, MMA. Like, you want to, you know, put my eyeballs on boxing, and yes, Dana White doesn't want to make it a rivalry out of respect, but it became that way. And you know, UFC, let's keep it real, has been kicking ass and winning some of these, I guess, whatever ratings, whatever, WCW, WWE wars, right? Getting more eyeballs in the sport, younger fan base, boxing's getting old, and
well, now they're teammates, WWE and UFC.
Yeah, there you go. So that, you know, they're in this new age, thinking ahead, and boxing's getting left behind. And you know, for a bit, I thought like, man, this could do real damage for Canelo with the UFC going to the spear, and Dana White hyping it up, saying it's gonna be the best thing ever. It's gonna be a once in a lifetime opportunity. We're gonna go there one and done. You better not miss this. And I'm like, oh, okay, Canelo, you chose Berlanga. You're not firing anybody. You're annoying people with the high pay-per-view prices. You're not firing them Benavidez. This intriguing thing with the UFC, Canelo, you're in trouble. And then I just kind of forgot that like Mexicans support, their guys all the time. And the one thing that Dana White screwed up is not promoting it with more Mexican fighters on the card. And then I get that maybe you don't have a big superstar that's of Mexican descent or background or from Mexico, and you needed to have Sugar Sean O'Malley on the main card. But you do that with like Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. Like that one would have been the punch there for Canelo. And then in a way too, Dana White's trying to honor Mexican fight fans. I'm like, you're taking away something that's a tradition for boxing and Mexico. Mexican Independence Weekend is for a Mexican fighter like Canelo, like Chavez Sr., and you're trying to take that away from them. That kind of feels like you're defeating the purpose. Like, I get you want to honor them, but maybe pick a different day. Like, you could. Why can't you honor Mexico like on freaking, I don't know, like November 10th or something? I don't know, but it was just poorly handled, Fernando. And I feel like that one night where I think it was the BMF inaugural fight between Nate Diaz and Masvidal, the first one. Yeah. We went to the second one, the boxing match, and Canelo was forced to be waiting in his locker room fighting Kolib. And like, remember that meme was just laying there on the couch waiting for UFC to end because somebody told him in his ear, hey, for ratings, you should probably wait for UFC to end. And that was an embarrassing day for boxing. Like, you're waiting for UFC to end so you could come out. You're the biggest star in boxing. You're waiting for those guys.
I hope that doesn't happen on.
I hope Saturday. Not. But this is where I kind of segue. I'm like, did Dana White make a mistake? Because the main event is kind of weak. The card is kind of weak. I think you're also choosing a holiday that's boxing tradition. You're messing with. Canelo's still a big superstar. And then also you're seeing the reports. I don't know if they're legit or not, but Dana White's telling people that he's gonna have a $30 million gate. Supposedly tickets are too expensive and people are not buying them. That makes it go more to Canelo fight at T-Mobile Arena. So to me, I think tradition is gonna win this one. And I just think Dana White, which I appreciate him trying to show love for Mexican fight fans, but I think he kind of just chose the wrong card, chose the wrong day, and don't mess with tradition because these boxing people are freaking stubborn old people, and that's one thing they do well is be stubborn, and you're not gonna mess with our holiday.
They so every fighter fighting is Mexican except for the second co-main event, if you want to call it that, but everybody else, well, Diego Lopez is the only other one, but he lives in Mexico, so I guess they're treating him as a guy that.
Wait, I already forgot, Fernando. Is Sugar Sean O'Malley and Miro the main event, or is it Grasso?
Well, okay. Whatever.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, they kept going back and forth. I couldn't even tell who the hell's the main event.
They're not calling it. Neither one. They're not calling either one the main event or anything like that. But yeah, Sean O'Malley and Marab are gonna end the night. But yeah, everybody else is Mexican. They have who's starting everything off? Raul Rosas Jr., the Chihuahua guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, that guy's an interesting character. Like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good fights, and it's gonna be. I wish.
No, I bet.
Got on a ticket to see how the spear's gonna look, but I'm like, it just doesn't have enough buzz for me. Maybe because I'm just a big boxing guy, but I don't know about you. And maybe we'll catch up with our guy Adam Hill. I want to ask him about the buzz out there. Which one's getting more eyeballs and who's being more talked about? But it just doesn't feel like the right card to go up against Canelo.
They're saying that there's a lot of there's only like 4 handful of seats for media, and that's it.
Oh, wait, what?
Not, like 20 seats.
Okay, inside. Yeah, because at the T-Mobile Arena, you get like maybe like 20 on the floor, and then you get a bunch up top. So I don't even think they have that as an option.
No, they don't. That it's just all that I like that a bunch of people got denied that were like, oh wow, that's incredible. So yeah, but I mean,
and more media probably going to the Canelo fight, which is more eyeballs and more attention.
Hopefully not, so we can be there and try and
which I thought that was gonna happen. Like, oh, we're gonna be at the Canelo fight. Everybody's gonna be at UFC Spear, and it's like, oh, actually, no, they're all gonna be over here because it's so limited and exclusive, and it's kind of backfiring a bit.
So you have Canelo winning, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I'll give you a pick before I move on to maybe breaking down some of these UFC fights. But yes, Canelo hasn't knocked out anybody in 3 years, but the way he looked impressive against Munguia, where I thought he let him off the hook, and I know you didn't like that. So I think he does that. He knocks him out. He completes it because, hey, credit to Berlanga, by the way. He was talking trash. He looked a little like, like a deer in the headlights when the first presser was in New York. He looked like, okay, he's never been here before. Too much respect. And then they go to LA, which I'm mad about. I think I was in Arizona for my training camp tour. Berlanga just talking crap to Canelo. And Canelo was like, okay. And he starts, talking, crap in Spanish. And I forget that Berlanga knows some Spanish, so they were going at it back and forth, doing weird hand motions. I'll leave it at that. And that was good for combat sports. So I like that he's talking crap to get more buzz here. But again, also too, like I'm not trying to say Canelo's generating so much buzz that UFC is being forgotten. Like I honestly thought, it's kind of quiet. But it is Tuesday though, Fernando. But I get really hyped when maybe Friday rolls around at the weigh-in.
Yeah, when they do the weigh-in, that's when some of that stuff will go up.
And real quick, 10th round knockout to be more specific. What do you have?
He'll go the distance. Canelo doesn't knock anybody out, so so I don't think that'll happen. So